The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
So the president of the United States just proposed taking over and owning the Gaza Strip, the area that the previous president facilitated the mass murder of thousands and thousands of people. It's like a handoff for the purpose of ethnic cleansing.
I think that Gaza maybe is a demolition site right now. If you look at Gaza, it's all, there's hardly a building standing, and the ones that are going to collapse. You can't live in Gaza right now, and I think we need another location. I think it should be a location that's going to make people happy. You look over the decades, it's all death in Gaza. This has been happening for years. It's all death. If we can get a beautiful area to resettle people permanently in nice homes and where they can be happy and not be shot, not be killed, not be knifed to death like what's happening in Gaza. And right now you have in Gaza a very dangerous situation in terms of explosives all over the place, in terms of tunnels that nobody knows who's in the tunnel. The whole thing is a mess.
This guy said Gaza is a demolition site. If you look over the last decades, it's all death in Gaza. They need to go somewhere where they won't be shot, killed, or knifed to death. All this while sitting next to the guy that's been extremely focused on turning Gaza into a demolition site, where there's nothing but death, where innocent people are shot, killed, or knifed to death.
This is a very, very difficult situation, but we're going to get it solved. I don't think people should be going back to Gaza. I think that Gaza has been very unlucky for them. They've lived like hell. They lived like you're living in hell. Gaza is not a place for people to be living. And the only reason they want to go back, and I believe this strongly, is because they have no alternative. What's the alternative? Go where? There's no other alternative. If they had an alternative, they'd much rather not go back to Gaza and live in a beautiful alternative that's safe.
These two savage pieces are simply repeating what murderous colonizing leaders have always done. After years and years of dehumanizing and killing people trying to live their lives in their homes, turning it into the demolition site that he always brings up, Trump has reached the phase where they justify pushing any remaining survivors into exile.
Peter?
Would Palestinians have the right to return to Gaza if they left while the rebuilding was happening?
It would be my hope that we could do something really nice, really good, where they wouldn't want to return. Why would they want to return? The place has been hell. It's been one of the meanest, toughest places on earth. And right now, I've seen every picture from every angle, better than if I were there. And nobody can live there. You can't live there. So if we can build them through massive amounts of money supplied by other people, very rich nations, and they're willing to supply it. If we can build something for them in one of the countries, and it could be Jordan, it could be Egypt, it could be other countries, and you could build 4 or 5 or 6 areas. It doesn't have to be one area, but you take certain areas and you build really good quality housing, like a beautiful town, like someplace where they can live and not die, because Gaza is a guarantee that they're going to end up dying. The same thing's going to happen again. It's happened over and over again, and it's going to happen again as sure as you're standing there, Peter. So I hope that we could do something where they wouldn't want to go back. Who would want to go back?
This is some standard supremacist language. Trump just casually says that they'll move all these devastated folks out of their home and into other countries against their will. And he'll easily get these other countries that don't have any reason to participate in his plan to welcome in everyone that doesn't want to be there. All this makes sense to people that think they have the right to control the existence of people that they don't see as humans. This sumbitch complains every day about the number of immigrants in America and how unsustainable it is, but doesn't think that matters to anyone else, because in his heart, he thinks he's a superior human.
Mr. President, will you continue to press for this idea that Jordan and Egypt take Palestinians from Gaza?
Yeah, I would like to see Jordan. I'd like to see Egypt take some. Look, the Gaza thing has not worked. It's never worked.
Where would those pieces of land be?
Well, they could be in Jordan, and they could be in Egypt, they could be in other places. You could have more than two, more than one, but you could have more than two. And you'd have people living in a place that could be very beautiful and safe and nice.
Would the U.S. pay for that?
I don't think the UN would pay, but I think there's plenty of people that would in the area. They have a lot of money. They certainly have a lot of money. Some of the countries over there, they'd like to see it. I know that Saudi Arabia wants to see peace. I can see that. And many of the countries there, as far as I'm concerned, they all want peace. I think, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think Iran would like to see peace too. They've had enough. Don't you think they've had enough?
But the leaders of Egypt and Jordan have said bluntly they have no interest in doing this.
Well, they may have said that, but a lot of people said things to me.
If these other countries want peace and he wants peace, why doesn't he open up America to the million people that he's looking to displace from their homes, schools, hospitals, and lives that we destroyed? And when he gets the small inconvenient truth that Egypt and Jordan want nothing to do with his solutions, all he said was, a lot of people say things to me, as if he gets some kind of overruling say in what these countries want. He can't be bothered by details regarding the fallout of Netanyahu's genocide, because he and his son-in-law, who received a couple $2 billion from Saudi Arabia, they have some ethnic cleansing to complete that Jared Kushner has been thinking about for years.
In Gaza's waterfront property, it could be very valuable to, if people would focus on kind of building up, livelihoods. You think about all the money that's gone into this tunnel network and into all the munitions. If that would have gone into education or innovation, what could have been done? And so I think that it's a little bit of an unfortunate situation there, but I think from Israel's perspective, I would do my best to move the people out and then clean it up.